Hello and welcome to India Today. This is Hesha Chimah, and joining me for a conversation here is Team Ulajh. I want to figure out whether I'm going to uljhao you all in my questions or you all are going to suljhao me in the process by the time I leave. Welcome and thank you so much for moving time to chat with India Today, guys. I'm going to start off this conversation with you, Janhvi. First of all, I have to say, you're so gripping in the trailer. I've been one of those lucky few people who got to watch it before I could chat with you all. And the fact that you're a shapeshifter in so many ways, you're actually surprising all of us pleasantly with your choice of films. So congratulations on doing that. But question, is this stemming from the fact that you've sort of time and again said this, that you've pressurized your own self given the fact that you consider yourself to have a little bit of an upper edge because you've been an insider, or do you feel like that's how you always wanted to be, like in terms of your choice of, you know, movies that you're doing right now?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think, of course, there's a sense of I'd rather pick the harder route. I also feel like it's the more gratifying route. I think I said this in a couple of interviews before, where I know it would have been the easier, more predictable, and it would have been the easier journey if I did the commercial movies with the wider reach, you know, the song, the dance, the glamour, that A, would have come easily to me, B, has a higher guaranteed success rate, and ensures more popularity. I think that I made a conscious decision a couple of years back to try to challenge myself, surprise myself, try something different. Even though the risk is much higher, the stakes are much higher, there are more misses than there are hits. But I found that there is more often than not more gratifying artistic growth in that journey. Having said that, now I think I'm making a conscious decision to just allow myself to have fun. I'm picking those films because that is also art, that is also entertainment. There is also a very specific skill set required to ace those movies and roles. And that is also what I love along with this. So yeah, I guess I have picked a couple of high-risk films, Ulajh being one of them. But with Ulajh specifically, I remember I read the script on the way to Tirupati. So for me already it was like, this is a sign. And it's very rare that you read a script that you're surprised by. And Sudhanshu actually came in and only narrated, I think, the first 20 or 30 pages and then left. And he was like, read it if you want. And I did, and I also, honestly, it was just like a hygiene meeting. I don't think he was doing it because I think the studio asked him to, and I was doing it because I was like, you know, log milna cha rahe hai, films aa rahi hai, you can't thukrao ever. Of course, I want to hear out every opportunity. So it was a very formality meeting. But then I got hooked after the first 30 pages, and then I read it, and then I had a lovely darshan, and I was like, I must do this film. And then I called him up and expressed keenness very aggressively. And then I think the aggression was what made him feel like...
It was very surprising and scary.
But were you somewhere down the line convinced that Janhvi is going to say yes because you were sort of so like sure what's going to happen?
No. I was like, this is the kind of film she reads to make herself feel good that haan, main pad to rahi hu. She'll do all these big films. Yeah, what is she like?
No, she's done meaty roles also, na?
Yeah,
no, she does meaty roles, but I was also like, I mean, the film is like, you know, of course we're very proud of it. There was a particular lot of effort and work that went into it, and it's a script that we were very strong on.
I also know why you thought that way. It was because I think signed Devra, got announced, Bawal had commenced, and so
yeah,
I think he was like, okay, now she's crossed over and she's not interested in
like
this.
I'm like, great, like, you know, also I wanted to make sure she didn't react to me or some sort of a hard sell or some sort of a pitch. I wanted to see if she reacted to the material, because I know the way I work, and I know what kind of a partner I was seeking, and it was going to be very difficult to execute this film if I had to be running around after the actor to pull that performance. That is not the vision I had for the process.
Sure.
And so that's why I left the ball in her court, and boy did she hit it back strong and hard with clarity, definition, And for me, that was a huge turn.
I think I came back with like bullet points.
Bullet points. I was like, yes, bullet points. I'm an Excel
Did you come
sheet
back
man.
with laddus? You went to Tirupati. What bullet points?
No, bullet points, Baba.
Laddus I gave other people.
Yeah. With me, bullet points, very happy.
It's
and
so
I was
difficult
like,
to get laddus from there.
Gulshan
I'm
is
consumed.
like,
I went to Tirupati in 1993 and I had to cheat and then like cut a line to get extra laddus. They're
you
really
weren't-
like...
you were not
Milana
happy with your
apko
share.
laddu
I didn't
apna.
hear a thing that you guys were talking about because
like-
once she said Tirupati, I was like, Tirupati.
He's zoned
laddu.
out.
How, what all I did.
Adra ki
We hid one security guard. and I
Adra
went
ki
from-
chai, Adra ki chai. That's my code word with Sudhanshu to get him back on not deviating.
So if I had gone to Tirupati, you would not be
You would
getting
have
bullet
gotten
points.
bullet
you would be getting
points.
laddus.
No, I was very happy with my bullet points.
Sorry,
and we took
I didn't mean to
tremendous
digress.
pride in flipping back with like. So it was a. She definitely. It's been very surprising every step of the way, in terms of discovering who she truly is. There's, I think she's herself makes jokes about Insta Janhvi versus like actor Janhvi.
Yeah, that's so
They're
true.
two
I was just
different
going to
people.
say that. Like, I think you were oscillating between glam and de-glam very well. Glam is Instagram, de-glam is suddenly the choice of movies, where I'm like, okay, wait, this is different.
No, Ulajh,
But-
she's glammed it.
Yeah.
But
she is.
in a way that is so in with the character, like, it's been a complete immersion. For me, it was such a joy to witness.
But listen, as a director, I want to ask you before I come to Gulshan as well. For both of them, I know there's an ensemble cast on the film. What were you aspiring to do between action and cut when you had Gulshan, who's such a fine actor, and of course there's Janhvi? As a director, what were you aspiring to do?
Honestly, I'm very, very greedy. I want all my actors to be surprised by what they did on my set. So whatever you think you're going to do, I have to take you half an inch past that, or else I'm like, kya hi kar liya? And each of them are so hardworking, and Janhvi preps like nobody's business. It's by the time she gets to set, she's throwing such a wealth of choices at you. You have to really dig hard to understand what's an area where she hasn't gone, what's a different way to take the scene. With Gulshan, beyond the initial guidance in terms of figuring out who the person is,
Oh,
who they're
this is
not.
diplomacy.
No, that's not true.
He's being diplomatic.
Let me bol to do yaar, fir tu bata de yaar.
It's not fun, please. Like, just like...
No, I'm saying...
Throw me under the bus.
With him, initially, after the initial guidance, he doesn't let you into his process. So after that, when he comes to set, then you have to be like, okay, who is he going to give me? And it's going to be a fully baked, surprising individual. But with Janhvi, for example, I felt I took every step along the journey with her. So we both showed up to set together. With Gulshan, we worked a lot, and then he went away, and then he came and presented the work.
To the mountains, nowhere I was at home.
Oh my. Yeah. But Gulshan, I want to...
But you know, the greatest performance we will never get to see in this film was from behind the monitor. Every time. He is so animated, he is like full Cartoon Network going on behind
How
there.
many takes you did with him?
As many as it required. I don't
Yeah?
mind giving
You're
takes. I
fine
like
with it.
doing takes. I like doing takes.
But tell me something like, I want to get your perspective because you're damn opinionated and I love that. I want to know, there's a lot of chat recently about the whole conversation around, having a longer shelf life means being very relevant in an
you were
industry.
going to talk to me about cricket.
Not
Okay.
at all.
No, we're
Cricket
not
I have
talking
passed
about
in the previous chat only with you. I want to know your take on what's this whole thing about. Do you really feel that in order to
RCB,
stay...
RCB.
Yeah, in order to be relevant, you need to, or rather to be relevant, there are things that one needs to do and then you somehow have a longer shelf life. Like, what's your take on that as an actor?
Completely lost what you're saying.
Why?
Because I wasn't paying attention.
Adrak wali
Say it
tha.
again. I'm so sorry.
If everybody remembered 5 minutes he's taking, then I'm
Sorry.
increasing my question
No,
time.
I am dumpukht.
Okay.
I need time.
I'm coming back with the question
Yeah,
to you.
please.
Gulshan, what I want to ask you is that, there's whole conversation around an actor having a longer threshold or a shelf life sort of depends on how relevant he is in today's day and age. What's your point of view on that?
I completely agree that relevancy is something that I also think about, and it used to make me very nervous, and it still does. I'm not that nervous. So I feel that it's, there is a skill approach to craft, and you have to keep learning. That also helps you keep relevant. And many times I think people, take the foot off the accelerator a little bit. They stop learning, and then they get to a point where they feel that, okay, now we need to, because it's a perception-based industry, you can't really measure anything, a performance or talent. These things are immeasurable. They can't be quantified. So it's what opinion people have, and then if more people have good opinions about you, that creates opportunities. So in order to sort of stay, relevant in that zone, So you have to sort of sometimes reinvent yourself and create some variety or be useful. People should think that, you know, that you have a skill set or a profile that's useful for them to be part of a project and things like that. I'm sure that's why, you know, I became part of this project, because the people who were deciding thought that, okay, there are, you know, that I add value and then it's useful, the profile that all of these things are conducive for them to be able to make this movie. It's also about approach to career. I feel that it's really important for me to sort of take personal interest in the curation of my career and have some sort of an idea as to what I want it to be. And which also means that, you know, having a pragmatic approach at times. Because I mean, there is that idealism and there's a fantasy element that people have also. But I feel that I can't really function being in hope that, you know, this is going to be it. I can't function like that. So I have a very pragmatic approach towards
Break
things.
down
And
your
I think
approach a little bit if you can.
I focus on what I am doing. I don't really think about it, the results. I have to have fun. I have to do my best given the circumstances. Sometimes I'm shit. I can't, because it is like that. You know, sometimes I'm struggling to sort of, you know, perform a scene, remember a line or just catch light or whatever. But I want to consistently be able to feel that I'm doing my best and I'm enjoying the process and I am adding value, I'm being useful, I'm working well with the environment that's given to me, which also means that the people I'm working with, and all of those experiences are very important for me. And then when I enjoy that, then the work is also better. This has been my experience, not only from now, from childhood also. I have realized that every time I won an award for best actor in a play competition or something like that, I threw the javelin farther than everybody else in the district level championship, it's because I wasn't trying to win it. I was just trying to, I want to throw this as far as I can. That's all I focused on. So I think that really helps me. And I would suggest that people should find some kind of a pragmatic approach also if they want to have long careers. And it's extremely difficult. And I am talking about this from a male perspective. I have no idea how difficult it is for women.
Yeah, it is. I've
It's
had
a
many
lot more.
conversations
It's
there.
a lot more
Yeah.
difficult.
Well said. But I also feel validation takes a huge way to a person, especially when you're seeking it in a profession like each one of you all. And I think that sort of happens with streaming numbers or box office, and we'll get to that. But Janhvi, I want to come back to you, and I want to actually pick up from what you told me in your first answer, where you felt that you initially sort of, you know, had it in your mind in terms of what you want to do and what kind of roles you want to do, and sort of distinguish that from what ideally anybody would perceive you to be. But I want to know, in your head, or probably what was the moment or what was the time where you felt that the industry actually opened up to the actor in you rather than the vanity that you would any which way bring to the table?
I don't know. I think I've kept myself from developing this sort of awareness in an effort to, I think, protect myself from either too much praise or too many brickbats. I think I'm a little unaware. I don't know how they see me. That's why I think maybe you can answer that question, or other people can answer that question. I don't know if they have even opened up to the actor in me, or if they're wanting to see me in a certain light, or how they're accepting me, or how much they have, how much they haven't. I just know that I just know that with each film or with each release, there has been a significant amount of growth that I felt internally, because I feel more confident the next time I'm on a film set. I know the skill set that I present has some value, because my directors seem to be quite happy with what I'm offering to them, and then subsequently other makers, when they see my work, they seem to appreciate or take note of the right kind of things, and that in turn gives me the opportunity to work more. I'm just happy I'm being able to do films. Honestly, I just am. I'm so grateful for the fact that a story like Ulajh I had the opportunity to be a part of it, and every other film I'm a part of as well right now. So I'm scared to try to become aware of what the outside narrative or perception is of me, because I think that kind of awareness kills an artist. It'll start making me calculate things that I'm not meant to calculate in any case, and it'll either make me supremely confident or completely shatter my ego. Both things will be very destructive for me. So yeah, I can't answer this question. I don't know when they accept it, if they have, if they haven't, I don't know.
But if I were to ask you if there's any sacrifice that you've had to make to be where you are today, what would that be then?
Sanity. I don't know when I am today. I don't know what I'm
That's a
doing.
great question. Please, I mean,
She's
people,
saying
including
sanity.
myself, are very interested in.
Where am I today? I'm on a couch today. I signed a film called Ulajh, and therefore I'm promoting it today. I don't know what the meaning of this is.
No, I think the two questions actually, in a way, are conflated. I feel there's a lot of pressure that must come with being in these positions where you have to say yes and no to things, and it determines whether you get to say yes and no to more things, and what is expected of me and what exactly is my job. And at least Janhvi's process, from what I've seen, is she tries to remain blissfully unaware. She plays it light. She pretends.
But can you
as though
really stay blissfully unaware when there's so much?
I don't know how,
you have
but
teams,
she,
you have people.
No,
like I don't know.
she does a wonderful job of pretending it's accidental or there or not there. I don't know what it is. It's been fascinating from me from the outside to observe that. What I can tell you is that it does wonders for the work, because when we're working, she comes at it as though she's a newcomer with a lot to prove, with 1,000 detractors outside that she has to, you know, like really deliver bang for buck. She respects the audience and their time, and that's great because it makes the process better. I can tell you, when we first signed up to work together, I looked at everything she had ever done. It was wonderful to see what that growth and what that journey was. There were certain benchmarks I set for myself in terms of what I thought we could achieve together. She managed to surpass and shatter all of them by a mile. I know I'm making things harder for myself by saying this, but it's a Janhvi performance that I think is going to shock everyone. It's tougher to say that about Gulshan because the benchmark is just
Because I'm shit in this movie.
really high.
Absolutely crap.
But with Janhvi, you won't see it coming. I'm sure of that.
I'm going to retire after this.
Gulshan, yaar.
Gulshan to nahi sudhrega yaar.
He's literally like.
No, I'm going to retire after this because my back-end deal with Janhvi is going to make me so rich.
Okay, I don't know what that means. Please break it down because now I'm going to forget my question that I want to ask you, Gulshan.
Yeah, there are different
No,
ways
kidding.
of doing business, and this is one way of doing business that can be potentially very profitable.
Okay.
But
you know-
sometimes it results in.
Anda. Well, listen, I want to ask you, Sudhanshu, as the director, right? Sometimes for an actor, it might be subjective. I think, Gulshan, you probably might have a take on it, so I'd love to hear your point of view also on that. They say that the success of a film probably may or may not define, say, a director's craft or a success. What's your take on that? Like, do you feel that? Because sometimes you've obviously won a lot of accolades for yourself, but here we're also discussing how to like put the noise out. But ऐसा थोड़ी होता है.
Again, अपना perspective है. I don't put the noise out. The noise is part of the noise. The noise is part of the work. What happens to Ulajh will determine what
Next
script
we're
I'm
gonna
able
do.
to make
Sure.
next, how daring or bold I can be, who I get to collaborate with, who's going to say yes to me. It is at the end of the day an industry and a business. That said, there are plenty of filmmakers I admire who stay out of that completely, continue to work on passion projects, who are building a body of work. And I want to be able to have the power to do both. You want the power to make choices. I want the power to be, stories that are maybe a little bit more difficult or stories that are easy that need more resources. The fact that you're saying yes to them, it should make it easier for that particular story to get told. And, each time I've been given this opportunity by someone, you want to really honor and return that trust. And in this case, for example, I have always been, really Janhvi Pictures, when they identified this particular script and selected a filmmaker like me and allowed me to go on this journey and empowered me with all these resources and are backing this film with a full theatrical release. And it says something about that company and the choices they're making. And I have worked, I can say without a doubt, we have all worked extremely hard taken that opportunity and gotten it to its fullest. So it doesn't, help me to pretend that doesn't exist. Yeah. There will be a Friday, there will be a release, and I know there's a lot of people counting on it, including my collaborators and my actors who have put their faith in me. Yeah. And, we're going to make sure that we take care of the audience and make sure they have a damn good time at the cinema.
Gulshan, are you ever flustered by all of these things that happen? Because I believe...
No, I'm not flustered.
You've given performances
I
that you've been, you know, critically acclaimed for, irrespective whether they must have clocked in numbers or not. And that's a great thing to do, because while it can be subjective, where it's directly proportionate, you know, to your acting or to the success of a film or a project, you still manage to get that.
Yeah, the one metric that really can be measurable is that, but then it's very flawed, the box office numbers. It doesn't trickle down equally to everybody. Yeah. You know, so that's the flaw in it. But you know, in my my debut year was 2011. I moved to Mumbai in 2008, and I thought that the one advantage that people who grow up in an environment is that they know how things work. Yeah. They know how the business functions. They understand things about perception. You know, the first day, the distributor share, exhibitor share. They understand a lot of these things, and they understand the value of, like, you know, a positive perception of majority consensus. So people like me have to come and learn from scratch. But you have to learn, because if you don't learn it, then you will have unrealistic ideas about things, and you will always be living in a false hope, because most people will never get what they really want in this business. They may do well for themselves, but they will never get what they really want. There's only a few of them who get there because of a variety of reasons, including some good fortune also, good measure of good fortune thrown in there. So I think understanding all of those things takes time, and then you start to see how these things can create value for you. I want to be perceived as I want like a big blockbuster hit pinned on my forehead, because I feel that I'm not a very hardworking person. I like to be, like, you know, chill, but I don't want to be comfortable. You know what I'm saying? I want to, like, you know, okay, now, because if a box office success empowers me, now my palms are going to be itching, like, what can I do with this empowerment? Now people, oh, I like this story, maybe I can get this made, maybe this will create opportunities for filmmakers to tell their stories, which in turn will be opportunities for me to just, I don't know, do something fun, something different, you know. I want to be empowered like that, but it's okay if I'm not. I'll live with it.
Look at me, think it's okay if I'm not.
Because I told you, most people don't get what they really want in this business.
Janhvi, have you figured what you really want?
People might find it ironic, but I think very similar to what Gulshan wants, but is okay not getting. I don't know if I'll be okay not getting it, because I really do want to be empowered, that when I get another Ulajh, I can give the script the kind of budget that it truly deserves. Yeah. And yeah, I want to be empowered to tell the stories that I want to tell the way that I want to tell it. I want to be empowered enough where I can walk into a room with the director that I love and admire and look up to, and he'll take me seriously and consider me for his biggest passion project. I want to be empowered enough where I can speak to the largest possible number of audiences and move them with my work, because that really is what I want to do with my life. And in turn empower them with the stories that I'm telling them. So yes, that is what I want.
Well, I think with that I'm going to close this conversation with everybody here. I feel that Ulajh definitely has a lot of potential, because it is truly a very gripping trailer, and I must say this, not because I'm interviewing you all or I'm sitting here, but I felt that, and I'm quite honest that way. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Looking forward to the film, and all the very best to all three of you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.